football fans, we are ready for NFL picks for week number 16 in the league where they play. I said in the league where they play. One more time, in the league where they play. For pay. Great to be back with you. The best audience in all of YouTube continues to be right here. Final show of the season. Final show until September of 2023. How fast do these seasons go by? The last 4 months, blink of an eye. I feel like I just watched the Super Bowl when the Rams won. That's almost a year ago. We're almost in the playoffs already. The seasons go faster and faster. Another new year? 2023? Wasn't it just the year 2000? What's going on here? Time's got to slow down a little bit. But week 16, always a bittersweet week for me. We've had a monster season, but it's always hard to say goodbye to you guys. So let's close it out in style. I was 13-3 last week, a game tonight. 168-50 through 15 weeks. Another spectacular season of picking games. Let's have a great week 16. Let's get it started. Week 16, pick number 1. This is the Thursday night football game. And remember, the schedule is a little different this week. The normal Thursday and Sunday games. But because of Christmas, most of the games are on Saturday this week. And there's only 3 games on Sunday. Kind of the reverse of what you had last week when you had 3 games on Saturday and most of them on Sunday. Most of the games this week are on Saturday, Christmas Eve. All right, so Thursday. Let's go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey, not too far from where I sit here, with the New York Football Jets, a -1.5 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jets down to 7-7, lost to Detroit. What in the world were the Jets doing as far as clock management at the end of this football game? The Jets were clueless at the end of this game. Their clock management was awful. A high school team could have been more organized at the end of this game with the clock. The Jets had 3 timeouts and they were not using them. I mean, they must have let a minute between 2 plays go off the clock. And they had 3 timeouts. Zach Wilson, give me a timeout, please. The coach of the Jets, give me a timeout. The clock's running, tick, 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 tick. The Jets are just standing around, not taking a timeout, not running a play. Oh my God, they must have wasted a minute with 2 plays. And they had 3 timeouts. Jets, give me a TO. Terrible clock management by the New York Jets. And Zach Wilson, listen, I know he threw for 300 yards and he had some touchdown passes. He had an awful interception in this game and got away with another one where he just threw it up in the air and the Jets actually caught it. So Zach Wilson, a little deceiving his stats. He had a terrible interception in this game and almost had another one. And the clock management at the end of this game was downright horrifying. How about Jacksonville? They're up to 6-8, come all the way back and beat Dallas. They're down 27-10 in this game, late in the third quarter. They come all the way back, and they win it in overtime on a pick 6 as the Cowboys are driving to potentially win the game. Jacksonville is now a game behind Tennessee for the division. And if you watch those 2 teams play, Jacksonville looks like the better team right now. And they play one more time down in Jacksonville. I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville wins that division and Tennessee is out of the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence, I think, has turned the corner. He's looking like the quarterback we all thought he could be. They got some weapons on that offense. Nice job by Jacksonville. They were dead and buried in this game and came all the way back to win. As far as this particular game on Thursday Night Football, the Jets at home -1.5 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm moving it to 7.5 in a 2-team teaser and taking the Jaguars. This game can go either way. It's a field goal game either way. I don't know if you're getting Wilson or White this week. Jacksonville can definitely win this game outright. You got to love them with 7.5 points. You know the Jets don't score a lot of points to begin with. So you have to love Jacksonville here. I know it's a short week. I know it's a road game. But to me, the play here, Jacksonville 7.5 and a 2-team teaser. That's pick number 1 on Thursday Night Football. Pick number 2, and like I said, this starts the Saturday games. Let's go down to Baltimore, where the Baltimore Ravens are -6.5 against the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons down to 5-9, lost a tough game to New Orleans with the young Ritter at quarterback. Falcons had a chance to get into field goal range at the end, but fumbled. Lights out for them. Falcons are still in it because Tampa Bay keeps losing. So the Falcons, Carolina, and the Saints, despite their record at 5-9, are only a game behind the 6-8 Buccaneers. Hard to believe. Baltimore, they're down to 9-5, lost to Cleveland, couldn't get anything done offensively. Jackson didn't play. They hope to have him back this week. Backup quarterback Hundley, he didn't look good at all. Baltimore's offense the last month has been stumbling and bumbling. They cannot even score a touchdown. So they need Jackson back in the worst way. I think they'll get him back this week. If Jackson's playing this week, which I think he will, I'm moving it to basically pick him and taking the Ravens. I think Jackson will give them that jolt offensively they need, and I think the Ravens will take care of business against an Atlanta team that's playing a rookie quarterback and is now his second start. That's asking a lot. That's asking a lot. So I like the Ravens here, pick them to win the game if Jackson plays. That's pick number 2. Pick number 3, let's go to Minnesota, where the Minnesota Vikings are -4.5 against the New York Football Giants. Giants up to 8-5-1, had a very important win on Sunday Night Football against Washington last night. The defense played really well. Thibodeau set the tone. He had that, that grand slam, as they call it. He had the sack, the fumble, the recovery, the touchdown, gave the Giants the lead, and the Giant defense really carried the day in this game. And that was the Giants' recipe in the beginning of the year. That's how they won a lot of these games. These close, low-scoring games. The Giants got away from that the last month, but they got back to it last night. A very important win. And now the Giants are sitting pretty as far as getting into the playoffs. How about the Vikings? Is this not comical with them? It's downright comical. The Vikings are up to 11-3. They beat the Colts. They have the largest comeback in NFL history. They're down 33-0, and they come all the way back and win the game. Again, that's like the 10th, 11th time the Vikings have won a one-score game this year. It's comical. It is comical. All the comebacks and all the one-score games this team has won. And give them credit, because at 33-0, everyone thinks the game's over. And they again did not quit on the game. And their defense, listen, I don't love their defense. And played better at the end of this game. And I think their defense will eventually catch up to them. I don't think it's that good. But give the Vikings credit. Time and time again this year, they've been down and out and never gave up on a game and came back. Remember the Buffalo game? They didn't even quit on that game. What all Buffalo had to do was fall forward. Give the Vikings all sorts of credit for playing the entire game and never giving up. And 11-3 is a solid record. Again, I don't love their defense. The defense has to get better. But overall, the Vikings have done a tremendous job. And 33-0, that's one for the ages. Skol. By the way, one other thought on this game. Nate Burleson, I believe, the ex-receiver who played in the NFL, he was calling this game on the NFL Network. The Vikings had like a 4th and 1 during this game. They were down already double digits, and they ran a fake punt. And Nate Burleson was going crazy saying, wow, what a great call. They had me fooled. That's the time you run a fake punt. First of all, it was incomplete. They didn't get it. That fooled no one. Nate Burleson was saying he was fooled. Why would you be fooled there on 4th and 1? That's when teams are looking for a fake punt. 4th and 10, they're not looking for it. 4th and 1, everybody was looking for a fake punt there. And then he was saying the pass should have been completed. Listen, the guy was not wide open. There was a defender there. And remember, Mr. Nate Burleson, you have a punter throwing the ball. It's not Dan Marino throwing the ball. Yeah, if it was a perfect pass, it would have been completed. It was a little high. There was a defender there. And Nate Burleson acted like this should, it was a no-brainer. You have a punter throwing the ball, Burleson. Calm down, and that play didn't fool anybody except you. far as this game, Minnesota at home -4.5 against the New York Football Giants. I'm going to move it to 10.5 and take the Giants. The Giants played well last week, and the Vikings again. And I've said this for 3 months. They're in nothing but close games. They win them all, but they're all close. So if I can get the Giants with 10.5 and a 2-team teaser, I got to love them to at least hang around in this game. Got to love them to at least hang around. The game should be close. The Vikings are in nothing but close games. I'll take the Giants in a 2-team teaser plus 10.5. That's pick number 3. Pick number 4, let's go to the dog pound in Cleveland with the Cleveland Browns on -3.5 against the New Orleans Saints. Who dat? Saints are up to 5-9, hung on and beat Atlanta. Like I said, the Saints are still alive for the division. That's hard to believe teams at 5-9 are still alive for the division, but the Saints, Carolina, and Atlanta, all a game back of 6-8 Tampa Bay. Ouch. Cleveland, they're up to 6-8, beat Baltimore. Both offenses did nothing. I bet the under in this game. I mean, both offenses are anemic. The Browns, since Watson has took over at quarterback, have scored 2 offensive touchdowns, and yet they've won 2 games. Just think about that. 3 weeks, 2 offensive touchdowns, but they went 2-1. That's because their defense played well, and they were playing some anemic offenses on the other side. This is a bizarre game. This is a messy, ugly, sloppy 13-10 game. Somebody, do I have to pick it? Say it ain't so. I'm going to move it to 9.5 and take the Saints. I think, like I said, it's a 13-10 game. Both offenses can't do much. Both teams still alive, believe it or not, for the playoffs. The Saints at 5-9 are only a game back. Cleveland's not out of it either. So I think it's a sloppy, ugly, messy game, kind of like the Cleveland-Baltimore game last week. 13-10 somebody. If I had to play it, 9.5 with the Saints, and I would think they would hang around. I don't love the game, but that's the way I would go. That's pick number 4. Who dat? Pick number 5. Let's go to Windy City in Chicago with the Buffalo Bills at -10 against the Chicago Bears. Bears, what else is new with them? They're down to 3-11, lost to Philly. They were close but fall short again. That's been the story of the Bears all year. They've been close but lose all these games. They're the opposite of the Vikings. The Vikings find ways to win. The Bears find ways to lose. And they lost to Philly despite playing hard for most of this game. Buffalo, they're up to 11-3, beat Miami on Saturday night in the Snow Globe game. That was a tremendous football game. Back and forth we went. Spectacular football game. Buffalo pulls it out. Buffalo is still hanging on to that number 1 seed in the AFC, and that is very, very important who gets that. Because only the top seed gets a bye. And then you get to host all the games. You don't want to drop one here, Buffalo, and then have to go, say, into Kansas City, into Cincinnati. You want to keep the number 1 seed. Gotta have it. Gotta have it. Can't get sloppy here. And the Bills can occasionally get sloppy in these types of games. But I think they'll have enough to take care of business here against a bad team that always finds a way to lose. So 3-team teaser, 4-team teaser, super teaser, move it to pick 'em, whatever. You got to think the Bills are going to have enough to win this football game. Can't get sloppy here, Buffalo. Get the job done. I think they will. Bills, pick number 5. Pick number 6. Let's go to Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, where the Kansas City Chiefs are -9 against the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle down to 7-7, lost to San Francisco. Seattle is now starting to go the other way. They got off to a really hot start. They were doing a nice job. They're starting to go the other way. And listen, Geno Smith overall has done a nice job. He is not the quarterback of the future for Seattle. They need to draft a good young quarterback. Chiefs, they're up to 11-3, beat the Texans, and I'll tell you, they were lucky to beat the Texans. They were sloppy a lot of this game, Kansas City. Just like they were last week, Kansas City, when they had that big lead against Denver, almost let that lead slip away. They did not play crisp football here. And I'll give the Texans credit later, because the Texans 2 weeks in a row against Dallas and Kansas City really showed up to play. But the Chiefs weren't crisp in this game in all aspects. They got to pick it up a little bit. They're fighting with Buffalo for that top seed. They're trying to hold off Cincinnati for the 2 seed. I'm going to move it to pick them in a 3-team teaser and take the Chiefs. I have to go with them. They're home. It's such an important game for them, and I cannot trust Seattle right now. Like I said, they're going the other way. This is a monster ask for the Seattle Seahawks to go into Kansas City under these circumstances and win the football game. I don't think so. I'll take my chances with the Chiefs to win it. That's pick number 6. Pick number 7. Let's go up to New England. Interesting game here with the Cincinnati Bengals are -3.5 against the New England Patriots. Cincinnati up to 10-4, come roaring back and beat Tampa Bay. I mean, they were getting crushed in the first half of this game, then flipped the switch in the second half and dominated the game. Cincinnati is hot now, and they are a dangerous team. If Cincinnati can overtake Kansas City or Buffalo, for one of those 2 seeds, they are a tough out, especially if they get some home games, because they're really good at home, Cincinnati. They're building a good home field in that jungle. They're only a game behind Kansas City and Buffalo for the 1 and 2 seeds. If you're Cincinnati, you'd like to jump both of them, or at least one of them. And they still have to hold off the Ravens for the division as well. But Cincinnati playing a lot better than they did the beginning of the year. New England, oh boy. Woo! They're down to 7-7, lost to Las Vegas. Oh my, did you see the end of this game, how they lost it? Lateral on the ball back, it gets picked off, and the Raiders run it in with no time left. Could you have a worse loss in the history of football? I mean, that's up there with the all-timers. That is an all-time. What was lost in this game is the Patriots in the second half were dominating this game. They're up 7. The Raiders throw a pass to the corner of the end zone. To me, it looked like the receiver's second foot was on the line. They called them in and tied the game. That was all forgotten about. To me, the overhead look that I saw, his foot was out. But again, they blow these things up. It's got to be conclusive. To me, it looked like he was out. But they called him in, tied the game. That's all forgotten about because of the way the game ended. With New England lateral in the ball, and it gets picked off, and then they just run over Jones to get into the end zone. Oh, what an embarrassing way for New England to lose the game. And Belichick, did you see him after the game? Oh, my. Oh, my. He looked like he was going to have an ulcer. Oh, Belichick. Ouch. What a crushing loss for New England. Crushing it. Now they are on the outside looking in as far as the playoffs. This is a weird game. Like I said, Cincinnati has been hot lately. They do play better at home. They seem to really light up the scoreboard at home. Road, they can be a little dicey. It's a strange... I would personally stay away from this game. It's a tough game. If I had to play it, I'll take New England with the 9.5. I get 9.5. The home field, New England now, desperate times. Desperate times. They have to win this football game. Have to win it. And like I said, Cincinnati not as explosive on the road as they are at home, but it's a dangerous game. And I don't love going against the Bengals. They've been playing really good. Conservatively, move it to 9.5, take New England, because you get the home field, you get a team desperate. They got to be mortified the way they lost that game last week. So I think they can hang around in this game. Not one of my favorite plays, though. That's pick number 7. Pick number 8. Let's go down to Carolina, another interesting game with the Detroit Lions on -3 against the Carolina Panthers. Panthers down to 5-9, lost to Pittsburgh. Last week, the Panthers pushed around Seattle. This week, they got pushed around by Pittsburgh. It was the complete opposite. Pittsburgh won the game in the trenches. The way Carolina beat Seattle, Pittsburgh flipped it on them. And Pittsburgh dominated the trenches in this game. As Carolina falls to 5-9, and like Atlanta and like the Saints, they're still in it because Tampa Bay can't win a game. Detroit, how about the Lions? Oh, yeah. They're up to 7-7, beat the Jets. The Lions have won 6 of 7. I believe they started the year 1-6, right? I was hammering them. I was hammering the coach. You have to give them all sorts of credit because that 1-6, you never thought the Lions of all teams were going to get up to 7-7, and guess what? They have. Their only loss was to Buffalo on Thanksgiving. They could have won that game. They played hard. They played well. Goff has played well. The offense has done some good things. The defense has been hanging in there. The coach, who I've been on in the past, has done a good job. I never thought the Lions would be 7-7. No way. No way. So they have really turned it around. I will give the Lions all sorts of credit. An eerie game because both teams still alive for the playoffs. Very strange game. I'm going to move it to 9 and take Carolina. Detroit, again, they're another one. On the road, not as explosive as they are at home. They still can win games on the road, but you see when they win, it's low scoring. Outside, probably cold conditions here in Carolina. So I'm going to move it to 9 and take Carolina. It's a very important game for both teams, so I think it'll be close. I really do. I think it'll be close. So again, conservatively, like the last game, move it to 9, take the Panthers. You get a home team, you get 9 points, and you get a team desperate that needs the game. So I'll go that way. It's another tricky game though, but that's pick number 8. Pick number 9, let's go down to Nashville, Tennessee, where it's all crumbling, with the Tennessee Titans on -7.5 against the Houston Texans. Houston won 12-1, lost to Kansas City. I'll tell you, the Texans the last 2 weeks, they could have easily beaten Dallas and could have easily beaten Kansas City. But they fall short in both games. But they did play really, really hard. And there was a time this year where the Texans for like 2 months were inept. They played at least decent football the last 2 weeks. And their best quarterback, and they've been rotating quarterbacks, and none of them are any good, but Mills is definitely the best of the 3. And with the number 1 pick, they have to draft the quarterback. Have to do it. I'm sure they will do it. Tennessee. Down to 7-7, falling to pieces. Lost to the Chargers. Defense did all it could, but the offense, they can't do anything. The offense can't move from here to there. Tannehill struggling, no passing game. You can't rely on Henry to do everything. They can't score. And Vrabel's another one. Like Belichick, looks like he's going to have an ulcer. All I see him is hunched over on the sidelines. He looks like he's just going to fall over and have an ulcer, Vrabel. This must be eating away at him, this offense. It's atrocious. It's hard to watch. And Jacksonville's nipping at their heels. Like I said before, don't be surprised if Jacksonville doesn't go past Tennessee the way the Titans are playing. Just off the last couple weeks, I'm moving this to 13.5, and I'm taking the Texans. The Texans could have easily beat Dallas. They could have easily beat the Chiefs. There is no reason why they can't hang in the game against Tennessee, who can't score over 17 points and can't move the ball from here to there. It won't take much for the Texans to hang in this game. And I think they will. And the way the Titans are playing, the Texans could win this game. So that is pick number 9. Pick number 10. Let's go out to San Francisco, Santa Clara to be exact. Alcatraz. With the San Francisco 49ers a -6.5 against the Washington Commanders. Commanders down to 7-6-1, lost to the Giants. Couldn't really do anything offensively. Had a very nice first quarter where they were running the ball well and they were kind of pushing the Giants around. But you look up, they were only winning 3-0. Then after the fumble return for the Giants, Washington didn't have much going on offensively in this game. Didn't do a whole heck of a lot. We'll see when they get Heineke on the bench permanently. Get Wentz back in there. And then you got the Niners. They're up to 10-4, beat Seattle. Purdy again. Now that's 3-0. And the defense is just awesome. The Niner defense it's got to be one of the best defenses in the league, if not the best defense. I mean, they can shut you down. They're old school defense. They're an old school smash mouth physical team. And this Purdy, I'm impressed. This is the last guy picked in the draft, Mr. Irrelevant. He's a third-string quarterback. He's playing well. And remember, they didn't even have Samuel. The defense is just awesome. Lights out. I'm going to move it to pick them and take the Niners. Washington couldn't move the ball against the Giants. How are they going to move the ball against the Niners in San Francisco where the Niners are always good? Oh, I'll take my chances with the Niners to stuff Washington. Niners, pick them. Pick number 10. Pick number 11. Let's go to the Big D in Dallas, Jerry's World. How about them Cowboys? With the Dallas Cowboys are -1.5 against the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles do it again. They're up to 13-1. They beat Chicago. They're going to be the number 1 seed. They didn't play great in this game. They fell behind, but they found a way to win. Hurts has to be one of the favorites to win the MVP. Eagles 13-1. How many people thought the Eagles would be 13-1 this year? Really? Even in Philly? No way. No way. What an incredible job by the Eagles. 13-1. Impressive. And then you got the Dallas Cowboys. They're down to 10-4. Lost all chance at the division. Lost any chance they had at the division and that 1 seed with this loss to Jacksonville. And as I mentioned before, the Cowboys are up 27-10 late in the third quarter and having their way with the Jaguars, and they let the game slip away. Where was the defense? Where was this big-time defense that Skip Bayless is always talking about? They got carved up by Jacksonville in the third and fourth quarter. 27-10, and you can't hold it. If you're a Super Bowl contender, you have to hold that lead. You have to hold that lead. And they still had a chance to win it in overtime, and then the pick six. This was an atrocious loss for the Dallas Cowboys. Atrocious, because they were still alive for top seed in the division. Yeah, sure, they would need to beat Philly here, needed some help, but they were still alive. Now they're dead. They're going to be a wild card team. They are going to be a wild card team. As far as this game, very interesting game. I'm going to move it to 7.5 and take Philadelphia. They're 13-1. They beat Dallas already. Dallas the last 2 weeks, they should have lost to the Texans and then blow this lead to Jacksonville. I got to show Philly some respect. This isn't even so much anti-Dallas. This is showing Philly some respect. I'm moving it to 7.5 and take the Eagles. They're 13-1. They're 13-1. I'll take them with a touchdown and a half to at least hang in the game against Dallas. I mean, you have to show them that kind of respect. I mean, come on. I mean, Dallas didn't play well against the Texans and blew a 17-point lead to the Jaguars. I'll take the Eagles plus 7.5, and I'll take my chances. That's pick number 11. Fly, Eagles, fly. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch those Eagles fly. Eagles, pick number 11. Pick number 12. Let's go to the Steel City in Pittsburgh. This is the Saturday night game. This is the anniversary of the Immaculate Reception, that famous play between the Steelers and the Raiders 50 years ago. The Pittsburgh Steelers are minus 2.5 against the Las Vegas Raiders. Steelers up to 6-8, pushed around Carolina. Steelers still hoping for a winning record to keep that Tomlin streak alive. I don't think they're going to make it. I guess they're still alive for a playoff. They're not going to make that either. Trubisky, I thought, did play well in this game. They sat Pickett because he has a slight concussion. I thought Trubisky, under the circumstances, played well. I don't expect a lot from him, but he played decent football. Steeler defense was good. It's a good win for the Steelers. How about Las Vegas? They're up to 6-8, and they just win in improbable fashion against New England. They tie it up on that, like I said, controversial call where I thought the guy was out. Ref said, inconclusive, touchdown stands. And then they win on the last play of the game as they pick off the lateral and they just run over, Mac Jones to get into the end zone. And the Raiders, who have had nothing but horrendous losses this year, pull one out of the fire. They were looking at 5-9 possibly here. They get up to 6-8. I guess they're still alive for a playoff spot too. They're not going to make it, but that was an improbable win by the Raiders, and they've had nothing but bad losses this year. As far as this game, I'm going to move it to 8.5 and take the Raiders. I don't think the Steelers are capable of scoring a lot of points or blowing out anybody. Even if you're going to tell me the Steelers are going to win, I don't think it's going to be by a lot. The Raiders are in nothing but wild, close games all year. This game has to be close. I think it will be close. I'll take the Raiders plus 8.5 in the Steel City. That's pick number 12. Just win, baby. Pick number 13. Let's go down to Miami. Now remember, these next 3 games, these are the Christmas Day games. 3 games on Christmas Day, and they're not great games either. Bad slate of games on Christmas Day. This is the early game on Christmas Day, where the Miami Dolphins are at home, -5 against the Green Bay Packers. Packers 5-8, of course, play tonight against the Rams at home in Lambeau. Dolphins, they're down to 8-6, lost to Buffalo. The Dolphins have now lost 3 straight, all on the road. I thought they did play a good game in the snow in Buffalo. That was a very good, exciting game. I thought the Dolphins played better in this game than they had in the last couple of weeks, but they still lost. And now the Dolphins, they're hanging on now to that last playoff spot. They're 8-6, and they've dropped 3 in a row. So this is a very important game for the Dolphins. I'd like some more information on this game as far as what are the Packers going to do tonight. Are the Packers going to win tonight and still be alive and Rodgers still wants to play? If that's the case, I'll probably conservatively move it to 11 and take the Packers just to hang around. If the Packers lose tonight and Rodgers sits, I'd be more inclined to take Miami at home. More information needed. I want to see what the Packers do tonight and how they look and what's the status with Aaron Rodgers. But this is a very important game for the Miami Dolphins because now they are hanging on to that last spot, but they do usually play better in sunny South Florida. All right, so that's pick number 13. Pick number 14. This is the middle game on Christmas Day. You know what? You know what? For the final time this year. Oh yeah, we gotta do it. My bags are packed! My bags are packed! My suitcase is full. Airline tickets have been purchased. Hotel reservations confirmed. Numerous seats on the 50-yard line available for this one on Christmas Day, because there's no place I'd rather be on Christmas Day than sunny Los Angeles, where the LA Rams at 4-9 will be hosting the 4-10 Denver Broncos. Oh yeah! Who's with me? Who's with me? Let's go! Rams, Broncos on Christmas Day. Oh yeah! Put your stocking stuffers away. Put your gifts away. Put that holiday roast in the oven, because we don't want to miss Rams, Broncos. I don't want to miss a second of this. Tell the relatives to come after this game. We want to be focused on this one. Rams, Broncos, boy, I'll tell you, the NFL scheduling people at the beginning of the year probably thought they had something here. Oh yeah, we're going to have the defending Super Bowl champion Rams against Russell Wilson and Broncos on Christmas Day. Everyone's going to want to watch. It's going to be like Thanksgiving. Everyone's going to be waiting for this game. Oh wait, Russell Wilson's been a bust, and the Rams have had nothing but injuries, have been decimated all year. 4-9 against 4-10. Oh yeah! And I got a special guest that will be sitting with me on the 50-yard line. The Grinch will be with me. The Grinch will be sitting right beside me on the 50 for Rams, Broncos. Oh yeah! This is an atrocious game. Oh, the Rams play tonight. The Broncos actually won yesterday. They actually beat Arizona. Oh, what a mess. Do I have to pick this game? Oh, my goodness. I can't wait to get out there. I can't wait. I'll move it to 7.5 and I'll take the Broncos. I don't know what you're getting from either team. This could be a 9-9 tie. Baker Mayfield against Rippin. Wilson may play, who knows, but you could get Mayfield against Rippin on Christmas Day. Tell the relatives to come late. Keep that roast in the oven. We're not unwrapping gifts just yet. We gotta watch Rams Broncos in its entirety. Oh yeah! Woo! Who's with me? Who's with me? My bags are packed. Let's go! Oh my goodness, so I'll go Broncos plus 7.5 there, and what should be a 9-9 tie. By the way, I've been on the Broncos and Russell Wilson and the coaching staff. The Broncos defensive coordinators, they deserve to stay because the Broncos defense has actually played decent and they've actually traded away pieces. The head coach can go, Russell Wilson can go, but the defensive coordinators and that staff, they can stay because the Broncos defense, under the circumstances, has actually played decently. That is pick number 14. Pick number 14, this is the night game on Christmas. Let's go down to Arizona. This is another beauty. Oh my. With the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on minus 4.5 against the Arizona Cardinals. Oh my goodness. Cardinals 4-10 lost to Denver. They're on their third quarterback. Remember, Murray out for the year. McCoy goes out with a concussion. They're on their third quarterback. They're a complete disaster. Oh, where are the Cardinals going from here? Murray has got a torn ACL. Who knows when he's going to get back next year. They signed the coach to an extension. I was surprised about that. Oh, they are an absolute mess. Oh, they are a mess. And you look at how Arizona started last year and how they ended up, and now this year, oh, it's been a disaster. Oh, a disaster. 4-10. Then you got Tampa Bay. They're 6-8. Blew a 17-0 lead to Cincinnati. Looked awful in the second half. Looked great in the first half, awful in the second half. They're 6-8 leading their division and can still win the division, make the playoffs, and host a game. Say it ain't so. Oh my, and Todd Bowles is another one. Todd Bowles is another one. At 17, I believe it was 17-3, Tampa Bay was leading in the third quarter, 4th and 1. Todd Bowles, another one, runs a fake punt. You're not fooling anybody there. They get stuffed. The guy didn't even look like he was ready to catch it. The game completely flipped from there, and the Bengals took over. Why are you running a fake punt there? And then, in the fourth quarter, halfway through the fourth quarter, the Bucs are down 10. They have a 4th and 1. They punt it. What's going on here? Todd Bowles, get a clue. And listen, Todd Bowles is no Vince Lombardi. Todd Bowles' record as a head coach, 32 and 54. Let me say it again. Todd Bowles as a head coach, 32 and 54. Let's not confuse Todd Bowles with Vince Lombardi. Awful coaching. Oh, they look terrible in the second half, Tampa Bay. Fumbles, turnovers, awful. And this game, come on, what is this? I mean, if Colt McCoy, the backup, was to play and he went out with a concussion, I'd probably move it to 10.5 and take Arizona. It'll probably be a 16-13 game. If you have the third-string quarterback there with Arizona, I'd completely throw it out. So to me, if Colt McCoy plays, move it to 10.5 and take Arizona. It should be a 16-13 game. If Colt McCoy doesn't play, throw it out. And you can't trust Tampa Bay under any circumstances. They can't score, and they can blow up a game at any time. Oh, they've been so awful this year. And Todd Bowles, pitiful. Pitiful. 32 and 54 as head coach. I don't want to hear Todd Bowles is this big genius on the sidelines. Don't want to hear it. That's pick number 15. And pick number 16, the final pick, the Monday night football game, where all my rowdy friends are here on Monday night. The LA Chargers are minus 3.5 against the Indianapolis Colts. Chargers up to 8-6, had a very important win against Tennessee. The Chargers got all sorts of guys out. This game was 7-7 for a while. The Chargers eked it out, and they had to have this game, and now they are in a playoff spot. How about the Colts? Colts down to 4-9-1, lost to Minnesota, and as I mentioned at the top, they had a 33-0 lead in this game and lost. Matt Ryan has the dubious distinction of, having the worst loss in Super Bowl history when he was with the Falcons and the Patriots came back, and now the worst loss in regular season history as far as blowing leads. Matt Ryan has both of them. They blew a 33-0 lead in the second half. That is hard to believe. The Matt Ryan, like I said last week, the Matt Ryan experiment failed. Now Saturday, please. Like I said when he got the interim job, hold on. Don't be so sure he's going to keep it when everyone was going crazy. I said, let's see how he does. He got off to a good start, and now it has just fallen to pieces. Gives up 50 points to Dallas, and now this, he won't be back next year. And this game is an atrocity. I'd probably move it to 9.5 and take the Colts just because the Chargers have a ton of guys out, and they're in a lot of close wild games too. So this should be another bizarro game. Move it to 9.5 and take the Colts on Monday Night Football. That's pick number 16. As far as the standings, real quick, AFC right now, Buffalo the 1, Kansas City the 2, Cincinnati is now the 3, Tennessee is the 4, hanging on, Jacksonville's nipping at their heels. Baltimore's the 5, the Chargers are the 6, and Miami is the 7, and the last team in as of now. New England, the Jets, and the Jaguars still in play. NFC, Philly the 1, Minnesota the 2, San Francisco the 3, Tampa Bay the 4, Carolina, Atlanta, New Orleans, all a game back at Tampa Bay. Dallas the 5, the Giants the 6, Washington the 7, and the last team in now. Seattle and Detroit hanging around, and Detroit is starting to make a push. So that is where you are as far as your playoff picture with 3 weeks to go in the NFL season. This is where it comes to an end for me this year. This is where I thank you, the audience, the best audience in all of YouTube, as I say every single year. I started off with about 10 subscribers, all family members. You guys have been with me from day one. Day one, 10 years we've been doing this. Every year getting more and more subscribers, getting more and more people watching the videos. You guys, the audience, have done a tremendous job. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I have so much fun doing this. I really do. It's a lot of fun. And you guys have been so loyal to me. I appreciate each and every one of you, men and women. Each and every one of you. You're much appreciated. Thank you so much for the support over the years. I hope we can continue this for another decade. Happy holidays to you. Happy New Year to you. It's going to be a long 8 months, right? But you know how time goes. Time goes fast. 8 months seems like a long time, but it'll be here before you know it. Seems like a long time, but as you get older, the time goes faster and faster. These seasons come up quicker and quicker. When I was a kid, I felt like once the football season was over, it never got back around. Now it gets here quicker and quicker. 8 months will probably go quicker than we think. So I'll be back in September, and we'll continue on picking winners, making money. You guys stay happy, healthy, and safe. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money. Enjoy the games. Enjoy the playoffs. Good luck to your teams that are still alive in the playoffs. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. And I'll talk to you guys in September of 2023. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart for all the support. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.